Applied training method. Return pass. This is the most basic pass. It's a return pass. Since the return pass is kicked in the opposite direction of the ball's rolling direction, it can float a lot when the ball rolls over the foot and the base of the ball is impacted. So it's important to kick while pressing the ball during impact. A 90-degree turnaround pass. If there is a pass that returns in the coming direction, there is also a pass that turns around 90 degrees. This pass may come from the outside of the foot, or vice versa. But if it comes from the outside, it is very difficult to impact it so that it does not float. So I try to push my foot forward even after I make an impact so that it doesn't float consciously when I pass or shoot in this situation. Then it won't come up as much. And if it comes from the inside, the ball is less likely to float than the outside. However, if you are not sure about the ankle fixation, you cannot send it exactly in the direction you want. So, you can spend it stubbly if you make an impact with the feeling of holding your ankle firmly and not kicking or swinging it. Wall pass. Also called a 2-to-1 pass or a wall pass. It is the most basic pass among the passes. It's a very basic pass, but it's one of the most commonly used pass patterns in the world's best competitions. First, the person who gives the first ball passes to the person who receives the ball. Then the person who gives the ball moves to another space to avoid the defender. Usually, if it's an attack area, it moves forward so that if it's a defensive area, it can free up space to receive the ball. And the person who receives the ball sees the moving person's movement, predicts it, and gives the ball to the space to move non-stop. At this time, if you get along well with each other through a lot of practice, you may be able to predict well or deceive your opponent with secondary movements. Anyway, this wall pass is the most basic and easy yet the most efficient pass pattern to escape the pressure of the opponent. A wall pass for 3 people. I think the biggest difference between amateur soccer players and elite soccer players is the pass made by 3 players. In the case of wall pass, only the 2 people who give and receive passes need to match. However, as soon as there are 3 people, the direction and intensity of the 3 people's movements and the 3 people's passes can be successful, so it is much more difficult and requires a lot of training than the wall pass. The basic pattern of the 3 pass is wall pass. While 2 players exchange wall passes, the defense's gaze and the opposing defense's camp gradually flock around the players who exchange wall passes. At that time, the 3rd player runs around to avoid the gaze. Then, the pass that opens will go out. But at this time, it is important to give the ball weakly with appropriate strength or just leave it well so that the first pass after the first pass after the first pass and the return pass can get an open pass or kick. And when you're working on it, the other 3rd player has to trust the 2 and have a sense of turning around in advance. So this pattern is very difficult to actually succeed in the game, and the difference between elite athletes and amateurs is stark. And I personally think that if there are more than 3 elite players on a team, there is a much more synergy effect than when there are 2. Today, we learned more about inside foot pass, how to improve pass accuracy. I will talk about soccer in more detail from now on. Thank you for watching the long video. Have a happy day.